Gambia's National Assembly proposed budget session for Wednesday has been adjourned to Thursday to allow the completion of the consolidated report by FPAC. More families remained helpless on the main Indonesian island of Java after a devastating earthquake hit the area. And the CARB's office in the Gambia has revealed the progress made in the country security sector reform process. Well, this and more coming your way on The World Today. Hello, this is Eyeafrica TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin coming to you live from our studios in Banjul. Many thanks for joining us. I am Amadou Kante and now the news in detail. And let's begin with National Assembly matters because Wednesday's budget session of the National Assembly of the Gambia has been adjourned to Thursday to allow the completion of the consolidated report by the Finance and Public Accounts Committee, FPAC. The report is being developed following budget bilaterals with various committees of the National Assembly with ministries, departments and agencies under their purview. This was meant to be the next stage after the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs, Honorable C.D. Keita, tabled the 2023 draft budget on Wednesday, 14th November 2022. Mafuji Sise tells us more of that in this report.
According to Parliament's schedule for the fourth ordinary session, FPAC was due to table its report on the consideration of the 2023 estimates of revenue and expenditure on Wednesday, 23rd November 2022. However, this could not take place as planned. Giving reasons for the delay, the Speaker of the House, Honorable Fabakary Tombong-Jatta, revealed that up till Tuesday, some committees had yet to finalize their report for onward submission to FPAC, which was to then compile the various reports to be tabled before the Assembly on Wednesday. Speaker Jatta explained that the period is so short and that it was almost impossible for FPAC to finalize the report of the various committees and table them before the August body.
That we had committees who had bilaterals with various line ministries and institutions. And up to yesterday, some committees had to finalize their reports yesterday for onward submission to FPAC, who will then compile the various reports to be tabled before us this morning. The time span is so short that it is almost impossible for FPAC to finalize the reports of the various committees for tabling before this August body this morning. To the extent we had to give FPAC time to finalize the report so that we will have to adjourn today's session for tomorrow.
NAMs were due to table the 2023 draft budget on Wednesday and Thursday. However, this has now been reduced to just one day as a result of time constraint, according to Speaker Jatta.
The debate was for 2 days, that's today and tomorrow. Because of the time constraint, it means we will only have tomorrow for the debate. So, honorable members should get well prepared, digest the report, so that tomorrow we will be able to do the debate and complete it tomorrow. Honorable members, we want to apologize for any inconvenience, but the time frame for us to consider and approve the budget is limited. So we will now adjourn the Assembly until tomorrow morning. The Assembly now stands adjourned on tomorrow morning.
The 1997 Constitution and the Public Finance Act provide parliamentarians with only 14 days to approve the budget after being tabled by the finance minister. This means parliamentarians have until 28 November 2022 to approve the 2023 draft budget. The 2023 estimates of revenue and expenditure of the Republic of the Gambia was tabled by the Minister of Finance and Economic Affairs on Monday, the 14th of November 2022. Honorable members of the National Assembly began the scrutiny with a 3-day retreat budget bilateral with various ministries, departments and agencies between Thursday 17th and Tuesday 22nd November 2022. Once the preliminary resumes on Thursday, the chairperson of the Finance and Public Account Committee will table the consolidated report of the committee's consideration of the 2023 estimates of revenue and expenditure of the Republic of the Gambia. The Assembly will then, as per Standing Order 86 Sub 7, debate the budget as tabled by the Honorable Minister for Finance and Economic Affairs. Mafuji Sise, Eyeafrica News.
Moving on, Ugandan authorities are urging the local population to adopt cooking gas as an alternative to wood fuel as part of efforts to preserve the country's forest cover. According to the World Bank, this African nation's forest cover stood at 11.7% as of 2020. Those authorities are expressing concern about the situation. Now, despite the high cost of cooking gas, some of its users say it is faster and easier to cook with gas than other means, and the government is initiating measures to import more gas into the country. Here's more details of that in this report.
Josephine Nakakawa uses wood to cook. This means more trees will have to be cut down to fuel her kitchen. But this traditional way of cooking is depleting the country's forest cover, according to the National Forestry Authority. According to the World Bank, in 2020, Uganda's forest cover stood at 11.7% compared to 29% in 2010. The government is now encouraging the use of cooking gas as an alternative to wood fuel.
Some are transiting from LPG. For us, we are trying to move from biomass, from charcoal at least, to LPG, although LPG still contains carbon. But we feel that that will be a step ahead.
1 million homes are set to benefit from the government's offer of free gas and burner stoves. For eligibility, one is required to register and be endorsed by the local council leadership. The locals say cooking with gas is making their life simpler.
Previously, it would take me more time to cook, but now I prepare my food fast and the cooker is smoke-free.
To refill the gas cylinder, one has to pay $27. Using this improved stove, one can save up to 65% of wood fuel compared to the traditional 3-stone fire. The promoters of this technology believe it will help reduce on the number of trees cut down for charcoal and also reduce exposure to harmful fumes. The government also plans to import more gas from Tanzania and Mozambique.
The Tanzanian government has agreed that the corridor through which the pipeline will pass can bring a return pipeline to bring gas from either Tanzania or Mozambique for our area here.
In 2006, Uganda discovered crude oil and gas reserves in the Albertine region, in the west of the country bordering the Democratic Republic of Congo. It is hoped that as the gas supplies increase, prices could drop considerably, allowing more people like Josephine Nakakawa to switch to clean energy sources.
And that report that is coming from the Ugandan capital, Kampala. Now, in other news, the recent earthquake that struck Indonesia's main island of Java has left several homes damaged. Hundreds of people lost their lives, while dozens of others remained missing, according to Indonesian authorities. Now, as the death toll continues to rise, hospitals are struggling to accommodate the injured and authorities are calling for more support. According to reports, most of the affected victims were children. Let's have more details of that in this report.
It's a rare occurrence here in Cianjur, West Java. Homes reduced to rubble, hundreds of lives injured, and hundreds more killed in a strong 5.6 magnitude earthquake. Ingi is still traumatized thinking about that day on Monday afternoon.
All I remember is my entire house collapsed. The first thing I did was save my child. My mother is old, so she couldn't run. I saw her under the rubble, just the tip of her feet. Thankfully, she was still alive, and we rushed her into this hospital.
Just like Ingi's mother, people here require constant care, but that comes with challenges in a small city like Cianjur. Hospitals just like this are overwhelmed by the number of patients that are in need of help. Hundreds are injured, and many of them are in critical condition. Officials here say they need volunteers and extra helping hands. The Indonesian government is now prioritizing that.
The hospitals are overcrowded, so we need to intervene and create this makeshift hospital. Otherwise, there will be many patients that will be neglected. Now, we're trying to tend to as many as we can.
Ingi says all she wants is to go back home, a home that doesn't exist anymore. For many in Cianjur, rebuilding will take time, and until then, they will rely on government aid.
Now, coming back home, a group of young engineers from the University of Applied Sciences, Engineering and Technology have innovated a smart home and dustbin in a period of 2 days. Now, the students unveiled their innovation at the recent concluded ACE Impact meeting held in Karava Conference Center. Our Moses Imendi has more details of that in this report.
The Gambia is among a number of countries in the world that are lagging behind in terms of their engineering and technological prowess. In today's world of digital communication and super-fast internet connection, abundant wealth is available to be had for those who have got the intellect and creativity to invent new products or develop programs that makes life a lot easier for people. This is where the wealth of a good number of countries come from today. Following the change of government in 2017, there were renewed calls for a new focus on the establishment of robust policies that promote engineering and technology. This culminated in the upgrading of the former Gambia Technical Training Institute into the University of Applied Science, Engineering and Technology, USET. Students at USET are working hard to develop products for the world market, and at the recent ACE Impact meeting held here in the Gambia, a group of young Gambians unveiled a smart home and dustbin which they developed. Maimuna Jallo is the smart home project head.
This is what we have here as a smart house from USET, and the control is done by network to mobile phone, which is done by through voice, text message, and through remote from their mobile phone. As long as there is connection, it works fine. And then at the end of the day, like if you do not have the connection, you can also control it manually, which is all set in the house here.
Here, a team member demonstrates how the smart home operates, leaving watchers in awe.
First, I will use the button to turn the lights on. As you can see, lamp 1 is the inside lights. If I press it here, the inside light is gone. Lamp 2 is the outside lights. That's the outside lights. That's the fan switch. If I press it, the fan will come on. You can also use voice command. Hello Google. Hey Google. Turn off all appliances.
Okay, turning 3 switches off.
Wow. You can also use it manually to turn it on. You see here. If you don't have internet, you can use it manually to control. Yes.
Kanifing Municipal Council, the largest municipality in the country, launched an environmental transformation project aimed at tackling the issue of waste management. The smart dustbin invented by this group of students could likely find a receptive market right here. Mbajuv demonstrates how the dustbin works.
Stand beside it and it opens, you drop something, you just move, it closes back. Yes, we might have the next pass in Mbajuv, yes. You just drop, you move, it closes. I think this is an amazing project.
These students have done a remarkable job in putting up such an innovation. But according to Mbajuv, the journey was difficult and highly challenging.
We've struggled a lot over the past few months to come up with ideas, but implementing it is always a problem because of the materials are always not readily available, even at USET and so forth. So we will call on the government primarily, the Ministry of Higher Education, as well as all academic stakeholders to help us with the right tools to get things done. Over the past few months, we've come up with so many projects, building substitution boards for referees and so forth, so many other stuffs, smart gardens, traffic light systems. We've built all that over the past few months, but then getting the tools as well as the help from the different stakeholders is always a problem. As you said, the students are well motivated, personally, I mean, within themselves, but then from those on top, it's usually difficult to even have the right communication tools and whatnot. So what we're calling on is the government primarily to help us with materials, because engineering has to do with a lot of practical stuff, as well as all academic stakeholders.
Engineers build essential infrastructure upon which the society depends. They turn engineering knowledge into action, traversing the path from concept to practical creation. Technologies, on the other hand, are changing at a fast pace, and although it remains uncertain what the world will look like in the next 20 to 30 years, what is certain is that whatever inventions occur, engineers will have played a major role in them. One hopes that by that time, invention from the Gambia will count amongst the most sought after in the world, with the USET leading the way. Reporting for Eyeafrica News, I am Moses Imendi.
Thank you, Moses, and well done to those students for the innovations. This is what a country like the Gambia lack, but we hope they will go on to bring us more development and innovations through their the knowledge they have gained during their studies. Well done once again. And with that report there, we now take a break and come back shortly. Stay with us, we'll be right back. There's ahead.
Tough Africa Global brings you exquisite yet affordable state-of-the-art commercial rental spaces available at Madiba Mall, located at Brewfoot Gardens Estate. These commercial spaces comes with facilities such as 24-hour security, standby backup generator, air-conditioned spaces, conference room, and personal cash power meters. If you are looking for a spacious and suitable business environment, look no further. Madiba Mall retail and commercial spaces are just what you need. Call us today and reserve a space. For more information, please call 733-3363 or 594-1053, or you can send an email to info@toughafricaglobal.com.
Under the auspices of the President, His Excellency Adama Barrow, the Muslim World League, in collaboration with the Gambia government, will host the Conference of African Religious Ministers and Ulamas on the 6th of December 2022. The International Islamic Conference will bring together ministers of religious affairs, leading Islamic scholars, policymakers, youths, community leaders across Africa to discuss and advance Islamic values that promote peace and tolerance. Let's come together and welcome our brothers and sisters in keeping with our trademark hospitality as the smiling coast of Africa. This message is brought to you by the ministry responsible for religious affairs in collaboration with the Gambia OIC Secretariat.
Ngu nyawu non ko nyawu bongu wot ko dum yakkat e nder banduma wiya do non e nder leydi Gambia ngu nanga sukabe be buri dum andirde acute kidney injury AKI ngu nyawu noon ngu lorlat te ngu ƴettiɗo pittali sukaɓe hewɓe e nder leydi he sifaji mantinoje ɗe ɗe jiyata ha ganda ko ngu nyawu gonduɗa woni reedu dogoru tudre saɗa jicco taw ko seeɗa yaltata walla taw haydara arata kine jaltinoje ñilɓe ɗojjo ha heɓandu wulandu ko sababi ko ngu nyawu heɓe sukaɓe noon suwa ande kono noon ɓe jiiti hen piiji ɗi ganduɗa ɗi moƴƴani ɗi badda noon heɗe lekkele ndiyam woni medicinal syrups e goɗɗi nyawuji gonɗi e dulaje tarirɗe hen ɗum foof no wawi sabab o nyawu he sukaɓe he ɓe jogui ɓe damugal cellal ngal noon woni ministry of health ɓe mbajo noon jinnaɓe ɓe woni yummiɓe ɓe ha heeɓe toppittoɓe sukaɓe ɓe ɓe cellani ɓe naɓa ɓe damugal cellal ɓurgal ɓaɗade ɓe ndentone nyawnande hoore mumen ha fa kala ɗo jomum woni ne wonda e laaɓal jinnaɓe ɓe noon e ɓe toppitoɓe sukaɓe ha joni ɓe mbajo wota ɓe mbiyat sukaɓe mumen ɗe lekkele ndiyam ɓe ɓuuri ɗum andirde he baby syrups ɗe ganduɗa ko Maiden Pharmaceuticals Limited fewni ɗum woni promethazine oral suspension BP, Cofex Malin baby cough syrup, Macof baby cough syrup e Magrip and cold syrups kala jiɗɗo heɓ ko laaɓi he kulle o nyawu wat feere nodda he 1025 o kabaru noon ko ɓe jogiiɓe damugal cellal ngal woni Ministry of Health Medicine Control Agency nangirani ɓe woni World Health Organization WHO ko kamɓe gaddani on o kabaru.
Welcome back. This is Eyeafrica TV and you are watching the World Today News Bulletin coming to you live from our studios in Banjul. And once again, many thanks for joining us. And let's now look at the rest of the stories. Now, the Egyptian Suez Canal Management has unveiled plans to construct a new container handling terminal to enhance operations and generate more income. Now, the Suez Canal is a major international trading route that significantly contributes to the country's economic growth and is also the main source of hard currency for the Egyptian state. Authorities are expanding the channel to allow more vessels to use the route to boost business activities. Here's more details of that in this report.
The new container handling terminal has a quay length of over 950 meters with a capacity of 2 million 20-foot containers or TUEs. It will be the second terminal in the East Port Said. The first is more than double the size.
Now the total investments in handling terminals is $1.5 billion. It will create around 1,000 new jobs and will make it more competitive as it will raise the capacity from 5 million containers to 7 million containers.
The Suez Canal Management is trying to make optimum use of its position as a major international trading route.
It's not just a channel for passing vessels anymore, but we are providing new services all the time, including bunkering, maintenance, logistical operations, and make it more attractive to raise investments in the area.
More containers and services means more revenue for the Suez Canal Company, which is targeting to exceed its record income of $7 billion achieved in 2021.
It's a major international trade route, and we saw how global trade was halted during the crisis surrounding the evergreen vessel. It is also a main source of hard currency for the Egyptian economy that is crucial to make up for the slowdown in other sectors.
Authorities are also widening the channel to allow up to 100 passing ships a day from the current average of 80 to speed up trade and make the canal even more attractive to the global shipping industry.
And let's stay within the North African region because the growing political turmoil in Sudan has left many families struggling to send their children to school thanks to the adverse effects of the economic hardship. Now, about 7 million children in the North African country could miss school this year due to the high school fees, charges, and other related issues, according to a UN report. Now, some school authorities urge the government to put in place remedial measures to avert a worsening situation. Let's have more details of that in this report.
Mashair said has 3 school-age children. Like thousands of parents who live here, Mashair must choose who to send to school this year.
School fees are so high. I have 3 children at school age. I can't afford sending them all together. It's a difficult and painful decision for me as a parent, but I don't have any other options.
Sudan has been in turmoil for years. The political unrest is affecting the economic and social life of the locals here. The school fees have hit an all-time high, starting at $700 to over $4,000 per child in some schools.
A recent UN report says 1 in every 3 school-age children in Sudan cannot attend school this year. That number is likely to increase further if the government is not able to address the crisis.
The ongoing civil war in many parts of the country and recent displacements caused by flash floods have worsened the situation. The laws to enable free education have been ratified, but the poor conditions, a deteriorating economy, and the lack of infrastructure have hampered the plans.
The government should allocate proper budget for education and its infrastructure. Without urgent solutions, the rate of school dropout is likely to increase next year, and that will lead to generational catastrophe.
For years, the annual budget for education has the majority of the government expenditure goes for security and defense. Sudanese people hope a political resolution will put education back on track.
From the report there in Sudan, finally, the Office of the Geneva Center for Security Sector Governance, DCAF in the Gambia, Wednesday convened a conference to demonstrate the progress and achievements registered in the reform of the security sector, with special impetus on results achieved in the framework of the DFACT or DCAF program in the country. Now, DCAF has been a key player in supporting the launching and implementation of the security sector reform process in the Gambia. It could be recalled that the Barrow-led government launched a series of reform as part of its reform agenda to uphold the highest standard of democracy. And we hope to bring you details of this in our tomorrow's news bulletin. But for now, of course, this brings us to the end of this news edition. But for more details on this and other stories, as always, as ever, you can visit on our website on Eyeafrica.tv. Many thanks for the pleasure of your company. Thanks for watching. Stay safe and do have a pleasant evening. Bye for now.